This will be my long-awaited Malphite jungle video, and I'm going to teach you exactly how to play this champion and dominate. For starters, press the attack. This page is so far to be the best page setup. You can also go unsealed spellbook, but it's a bit more tricky. For starting pathing, you want to start blue or red buff, and the most important thing is to press your W at 125. Yeah, so right now, press your W because the buff will last 5 seconds, and by the time the buff spawns, you can hit it, and your cooldown on your W is going to be back up within 5 seconds. So it's a really good thing. In fact, it's the most important thing when you're playing him for jungling, is to just understand that one thing, and you're going to do really good on Malphite jungle. This is the basics of, efficiently clearing on him. And for here, you're going to be a bit more awkward. You have to make sure the blue does not reset. Start E level 2 and then start autoing. And the same thing applies. So when you're jungling, it's going to be the foundation for you to press W 5 seconds before you can reach whatever camp. But if you're on the camp, you're going to press W after you auto for the auto attack reset. So for here, whenever your W is back coming, instantly press it here because we're going to be here within like 3 to 4 seconds. Hit the big wolf and then press E, and that's very, very simple. Second, make sure you ban Silas. Silas is just actually the Malphite counter. You do not want to give the enemy team Silas, jungle or mid or literally any lane, because you're not going to have a good time as the Malphite. Thirdly, if the enemy mid and jungle are AP, you're going to have to go into MR, the MR cloak item. So far, the Sunfire build is the best build to go for, but if you're against like an AP kind of heavy team, you're going to want to change it up a bit, which is just normal, and it's just important for you to be able to adapt your builds. I think Malphite jungle itemization is probably one of the hardest I've had to think about, because there's a lot going in when it comes to clearing on this champion that I really... It can be a bit of a headache, so just be aware. If the enemy jungle and mid are AP, or if they have triple AP, then you want to go into the MR cloak item. Otherwise, you want to go into the armor one, and that's pretty much everything. Here, your E, just E once, and you'll one-shot. You're maxing your W, and then you max your E second. After Sunfire, Iceborne Gauntlet is my go-to. I think Iceborne is just giga broken, so I recommend going into the Iceborne. Here, we have the root on. So for ganks, you want to do the same thing. Preemptively W. And you're going to flash auto attack whenever you get close. Because they most likely had flash up, you have to flash to make sure you're flashing not directly here, but directly in a better angle, so you can actually get the auto off even if they flash out. The thing about Malphite W is when you press it, it extends your attack range by a good chunk. So you get that extra auto range, which is going to help you, get into range and get that hit off, which is very important. There isn't really anything else happening on this map. I've been practicing them a lot, and so far what I've realized is if the enemy jungle mid or AP, you just have to, and I mean have to, go into the MR cloak item. This game I was lucky enough, the enemy team is 80 AD, so it's perfect for the straight armor game. And what I like to do is just go Sunfire into Iceborne Gauntlet. So Iceborne doesn't show up, so you actually have to open up and go into the tank tab. And Iceborne is going to be a bit more expensive, 2600, but still very important. So here you see how I'm Wing way before. You don't want to W like here because it's going to time out, right? You have 5 seconds before you have, before you can actually use it. So remember, 5 seconds between a camp, just press it preemptively. And it's going to be your main damage ability. It's an auto attack reset, so it does help with press attack. The thing about press attack so far is what I noticed is on Malphite, it may look like it does nothing early, but trust me, later in the team fights, you're going to notice that press attack does so much more damage. So I do think it's quite good on him. So just because early game it doesn't really do much, later on in team fights you will notice that it does actually amplify a lot. Goes up to like 1.3, 2k damage into the mid game from my experience. So here we do the full clear. Just keep farming on him. Get your Sunfire components. The mechanics aren't really that complicated. Your Q is just that movement speed thing. You preemptively, want to use your W before the camp. Not too early because, well, unfortunately the camp isn't going to spawn yet. Your Q will speed you, speed up you, but also slow the enemy team. So your Q actually steals movement speed. So it steals movement speed from whoever you hit. And then it also will be slowing them as well. Your E is that important auto attack slow ability. It's an AoE smash. It can be... What you're going to notice is your E is going to be really awkward sometimes where it doesn't have the greatest hitbox. So if you do end up missing it, don't be too upset. Here I'm just, I have free time, so I'm just kind of messing around a bit. Letting my team chunk a bit. Not really overextending too much. Mostly because I want to kind of entertain maybe pressure on a dragon here. But I have to make sure the enemy Lee Sin isn't here. So we see Lee Sin topside, always dragon. And what do? We pull and we press our W in advance, get into range of E, and then boom. It really isn't that complicated, but when I start to get my level 6, that's when you want to know how to ultimate, right? This champion is the ultimate bot champion. And the rule is when you ulti onto people, the most important thing is to press W and then just press your E as soon as possible. Just E and W, you know, it's preemptively, you can cast at any point. And then you're good to go. Here I have my ultimate section, dive here. And diving, you have to focus hard because if they have flash, well, it's not going to be easy. Flash is a problem. But if they don't have flash, then it is not a problem. So here, Lee Sin, I think he was crossing. No, he looks like he's showing here. I don't think I'm going to try to steal enemy camps. Don't clear too quick. The W buff was really nice. But you're not like going to be in the other guy's jungle stealing all his camps. I wouldn't advise on that. I would focus on just your farm, full clearing, get your cycles. And from my experience, if you can have... If the enemy team, let's just say, is AP heavy, your champion kind of sucks, but can still be played, right? So he is an armored champion, right? Why is he so good against auto attack champions? Because your W gives you 30% free armor, which increases to like 60% based off, you know, your passive shield being up. Your E also damage-wise scales off armor. Your W damage-wise scales off your armor, right? So you have so much synergy with armor. If the enemy team is literally like 4 AD and 1 AP or even all AD, you're pretty much, you win the game. So his win rate will be very much reflected off of what you're playing against, right? So do keep that in mind. But so far, even against double AP comps, like I said, if the enemy jungle and mid are AP, you really just have to go into the MR cloak, and this really feels good. I think the most awkward parts for me so far playing him is if the jungle is AP, but the rest of the team is AD or a little bit AP in the support role, then itemization just feels so bad because I can't really go the MR item because the rest of the team is AD. And then I do go Sunfire, I need to go AP sometimes, or I need to go for like MR, which is usually your best MR item. This item is just giga broken. If you build it second, it feels really bad. But if you build it third, fourth, or fifth, it is absolutely insane on him. It is a core, as you can see. And another item that is a core, it is Thornmail. So Thornmail, you can rush a second. In this game, they don't really auto that much, but you can rush a second. But for me, when it comes to like carrying and feeling this AoE slow effect from Iceborne, feels 100 times better. So I like to go Iceborne. This one is okay. Second item. If I'm against like a full AD comp, it's usually up there with like Frozen Heart for being really, really strong to just rush it early. But if you want to carry really hard, and honestly, what I find to be tricky with this champion, or not so much tricky, but what I find to be really annoying is actually sticking on people. Because it really is really hard to stick on people. So that's why I found Iceborne to be like the hack, where I have Iceborne and I'm literally glued to people, and it also scales off your armor, so the AoE slow effect is so big. I'm gonna be honest, it's the biggest thing you'll ever see once you start stacking armor. And here I'm gonna max E second. If the enemy team is really range based, you can max Q second. It will speed you up a lot to help you get onto certain champions. But generally, especially like lower ranks, just E max is just gonna be better. Here actually I should probably help. We'll probably die though. So here, how do we want to play this? If you can just ulti and get on them, you want to do that combo I just did right there. And here, same thing, preemptively, W, auto attack E, auto attack. He tries to be fancy. He's like, oh my god, Soraka ulti, I might turn that. No, I'm Malphite. Rock hard. We're rock solid. The thing about them they don't understand is when things get hard, I only get harder. And that's a part of playing this champion, is you gotta be always ready to go. Always ready to be rock hard. And here, same thing applies. I mean, the W, like when you're in fights, right? If you're just sticking on someone, you just wait for an auto attack, then W. It can help. with, you know, a bit more damage. But don't worry too much about that. It just speeds up your clear a decent amount. The more important thing is the whole comboing when you go onto people. What you saw there was how I combo. I ulti, I press E ASAP. Preemptively W is fine, or just W as you're in there. It doesn't really matter. Or you use your W as an auto attack as well. All things are a possibility. But and then Q is like your last thing, because the Q, the reason why it's like going to be your last thing is because it's such a long range, right? You can Q from really far away and you're not going to have so much problems with it. Here we have 3 grubs, so I'm just going to auto. Very nice. Very nice, very nice. I like to get first tower, might as well. Enemy team is the Lee Sin. There are some people, like I played against a Mordekaiser jungle and a Diana, and that felt annoying. I think Mordekaiser felt really annoying, but that was the thing where I was talking about. The MR cloak just felt really good, and even sometimes you might have to go for more MR. I don't think it's bad. Abyssal Mass, it felt okay. Like I did do Abyssal Mass, but I wouldn't do Abyssal Mass as a full build. I think for me, the Kinnick Rokern is just so broken on him. There's something about shields and just it's just going to be a much bigger art. Like it gives you a much better stats in my opinion. But you do need ability hits on this champion, so I advise you on 100% getting abilities. So your flash, if you have flash up on Malphite, you can pretty much do anything. You're like God or something. Something like that. You can flash on people if you want. Oh, boom, boom. So even though they probably were like, oh my god, we saw him, we're running away, we're doing everything right. You don't do things right when you're against Mr. Rockhard himself, Malphite. And that's exactly why it's super hard to play against this champ if the enemy team has, you know, auto-based champions like that. I think he's really OP. I think he is probably up there as one of the best, you know, junglers right now that got buffed recently. I think he's really good. I just think people suck at itemizing on him. He actually is one of the most important champions to itemize correctly on him. He's not like... It's weird with him. He can't just build the same build every game. It's kind of you have to adapt a bit, right? Like I said, the first most important decision is knowing when to build Sunfire Armor one versus, you know, Hollow Radiance, right? So you have that like literal core decision. Here, if you want to kill her, all you have to do is smite, walk up, E, auto attack W, and then you just kind of keep autoing. You destroy 80 carries, and you have to slow them eventually. I'm just going to Soraka for now. I think I may have bit off too much rocks that Pebble can't digest. Yes, I may have done that. And for boots, armor boots looks really good this game. And then MR boots are pretty good as well. They could dragon, but it's not a big deal. The Iceborne, it may look like it doesn't do that much damage, but trust me, the slow effect is priceless. It's going to give you a lot of insane sticking power. And it also gives you a 15 ability. So if you can build this as your second item, feels really good. But the most broken armor items, in my opinion, are Thornmail, Iceborne, Thornmail, and then Frozen Heart. But like we said, Frozen Heart is super situational. I advise you not building it unless you know why you're building it. If the enemy team is full AD, Frozen Heart like goes up so much. It becomes very, very broken. The enemy team is kind of AD, but they don't auto that much. Frozen Heart becomes really mid. Thornmail, like we talked about, one of the core items on him. The reason why it's so broken is actually because it scales off of armor. Like already, if I buy it, like for example, this game I don't really care about MR, which honestly, maybe I don't. If I go Thornmail, I would reflect like 50 damage. It has the armor scaling, as you can see. Super good. And on top of that, cheap. Anyone can afford it. It's not that expensive. It is eventually a core item. But like I said, I don't generally like building a second as much as I like Iceborne, just because like we talked about ability haste and utility feels really good. But you can go second. If I saw more auto-based champions on the team, like go ahead. If you feel like you really wanted second, you can build it second. But for me, the most ideal situation would be to build it third. But let's say this situation is casting starting to look a little fed, right? I'm like, okay, I probably want MR. The thing about Malphite is it sucks to build MR because you have no scaling off of magic resist. But MR magic resist, it is essential, right? Like you will take too much damage if the person who is fed, because like look at our stats. Let me open it up for you. I have 48 MR, right? Malphite does not get magic resist. You have to build it. So that's why he's super countered by magic comps. And you will find yourself in situations like that. I recommend this game, for example, maybe Caston's about to get some kills. You just have to go Kanik Recurrent, right? You build it second or third and you're good to go. Here I could flank. So how do we want to flank? We know they're moving this way. So if they're moving this way, we want to flank by going this way. Here I'm going to just check the brush first. And then I'm going to look for... just keep autoing. If he fights me here, it's actually fine, right? I'm very strong. Ooh, I was like one auto off. Very close. He does have cleaver, so he does shred me a bit. Tower does help. Let me be honest. Like tower shot, Buddy had the entire tower busting me down. Like I was a goddamn problem, which obviously I am. Armor boot upgrades. I mean, it doesn't need any explanation. And here we talked about the situation. Do I think this guy's fed? Not at all. If I was against, like, for example, like I talked about, AP support here, you would have to, like, if it was Vel'Koz's brand or something, you have to go MR here. And that's where we go Kanik Recurrent. But because the enemy team is, like, or, because this is, I mean, Soraka doesn't do much damage. This guy is really underfed. Exactly what we want to do. Thornmail is really broken. We go Thornmail here. There are just a lot of situations where you have to know how to itemize. If you do itemize, you will just destroy everyone. But look at this AoE of, you know, the Iceborne. I really do love it. It feels really nice to have. But like I said, you could just go Thornmail if you preferred. It acts as if the same thing. Thornmail second, third item can be your AP, which is usually Kanik Recurrent. And then later on, you build into your fifth item is usually Jack Show. And then that's how you want to itemize. So we could fight here because I'm very strong. But I need to understand the situation here a bit. Thing of it is, once you kind of go here, people can't really escape you. But once you get slowed, not much going on. You have like the ulti engaged and you do the ulti combo. If you do those things, you're going to do really well. So no jungle camps up. We probably will end up waiting for the dragon. I do have like the, you know, the Rift Herald, but I don't really want to waste it right now. These outer towers honestly aren't worth breaking right now. Eventually we're going to have a big push and that's where we're going to break it. But yeah, Thornmail is really OP on him. It's just very broken. And here, even the enemy team healing. We just want to go Thornmail. If I do go my MR item, I'm going to go Thornmail after, and then my last item will be Jack Show. You want to have a little bit more fun. There are some different last items you can go, but so far, the success I had was, yeah, Jack Show. Here, just go into Bramble first for the Grievous Wound. And yeah, you're going to play against like a lot of comps. Like 80 carries are going to have lifesteal. You're going to notice they're going to start to heal off you a bit. But if you go Thornmail, they absolutely do not heal because your Thornmail does literally 40 or 50 damage each hit. Like if they hit me, they're taking 40 magic damage, which I'm going to be honest, it destroys them. 80 carries are not going to have a good time against you. So you can blind this champion. You can blind Malphite. Technically, they could go 4 AP. It's not like completely lost, but you have to know how to itemize to win those games. And it does get tricky when they have more AP. But like I said, if the jungle is AP and the mid is AP, it's really straightforward. You just want to go into the MR. The magic resist, Hollow Radiance. But W, very nice. So here I'm probably not going to take any more damage for a while. Probably over the wall here too, but I don't want to ulti unless I have more people around me. Ulting is a double-edged sword. You have to know when it's good to go in. It's easy to... Okay, he's here. Looks like he just... No. Maybe it was just a fake thing. Here, I'm going to just use it. Yippee-ki-yay! Look at the reindeer go. Reindeer. I could ulti in, but I don't really have any damage around me. Think about the damage around you. When you play tanks, in general, you need to think about who is your damage around you. When you go in by yourself, you're not shredding people. I need people around me. I need DPS. I need people like the Ashe to auto. I don't want to ulti just the Kassadin right now. He's literally worthless. You have to think about flashes a lot. You're going to start to know... You're going to notice is when people can easily flash your ultimate. That's going to be a problem. Here, we can just keep autoing. We'll just auto here this a bit. Ooh, Soraka healing is a problem. But my teammates not being here, where did we go? Where was the team? I was 1v5. I thought they were flanking here, but I guess they all split off. I most likely will wait for the Thornmail. Thornmail is going to help a lot for damage reduction because it gives 75 armor. It gives the same amount of armor as, you know, the Frozen Heart, but most importantly, it has the passive effect. Once you complete it, the reflect damage, they have auto-based champions, it's going to be really good. If they don't have auto-based champions, Iceborne does give you a good amount of armor and the slow effect to help stick on people. So I do enjoy that a lot. I still enjoy the AP build, even though right now I don't recommend going AP because I just think tank is really OP right now with pressed attack setup. It is just very strong. Right now you can see my armor is 600 armor. God damn. 600 armor, by the way. We'd love to see it. Oh, I forgot to buy my Thornmail. And there's nothing really up right now. I'll base and buy it after here. God damn, my Thornmail. But I do need MR now. You have to build MR at this point. You just have to. I'm just gonna base for Thornmail. My team is fighting without me, which is bad. I do think it'll end up into a loss. Because I do they have to know how important I am. I'm the most important person in the world right now. I want to allow them to just win the fight without me there. That would tarnish my good name as Sir Malphite, the rock hard man. You can see that W, 800 damage right to the face. The experimental items I was talking about, Titanic Hydra last item for the maximum amount of auto-based damage. It did feel good to build. I did enjoy that. When I build Titanic like later on. If you want more damage later on, you're like, hey, I don't have to keep going tanky. I want to hit harder. Titanic Hydra is your friend. It scales off of your HP, so that build, it does do a lot of damage. From here, we do have all these jungle camps we can steal. You do nuke people if they're low. Soraka healing was an issue for us, but not really right now. You can see the CS gap, obviously. We are superior. Kled Zest never missed. Here we auto. You can see the shield or the Iceborne, the slow field gets larger and larger. It scales off of armor. A lot of people don't know that. But the Iceborne Gauntlet actually scales. The slow field itself scales off of armor. Oh my god. So you get so much value from it. I don't have ulti, but we can just go Baron here. Shouldn't really be an issue. Might be a plan here. No. It's going to do the red. I don't think they're going to get anything stolen. So I'm just going to do the red in the meantime. Your ultimate. I showed you earlier the flash ulti. You only do that if you need to surprise people. If you're like running through, if they're just out of range, you need to flash. You just flash press ulti really fast. It catches people off guard. And sometimes it would be hard to perform. Like lower ranks, I don't expect you to do it. Sometimes you have to flash ulti when they're even close. And the reason why is because reaction speed will be... Some people have reaction speed fast enough to react to you when you ulti at max range, but if you flash ultimate, you can't really react to that. It becomes almost impossible. So that's something for higher ranks to remember. And yeah, that's the build. It would have been, this game would have been Kanik Recorn for my MR item, Jack Show is my final item. And from there on, you're going to be winning. So I hope you guys like this video. I'll be making more Malphite jungle videos. Let me know in the comments what you guys think and what champion you'd like to see next. And good luck on the climb.